I was in my corporate life and I knew meditation was something I needed to do. Everybody that I read about, meditate, meditate, meditate. And I'm like, oh, if I could, right? I mean, I would sit for 15 minutes in the morning and I'd be like, how am I going to get that 15 minutes back? Like I could have gotten some things done. I just couldn't quiet my mind. I just couldn't quiet my mind. And, you know, in corporate life, we also get really rewarded for our minds, right? We get rewarded for strategies, if then thinking, options, scenarios. And so, I had such a challenge with that. And then I went on a trip to Hawaii. And just before I went, I happened to buy a really nice camera because this was before we had like great cameras on. I don't even think we had iPhones actually at this point, but went to Hawaii, had this nice camera, was on my way to the beach and saw these orchids and started photographing them. And this camera could take really good up close photos. And then I just became mesmerized by these flowers and the energy. And oh, it was just like, I mean, addictive in such a good way. And so I just carried my camera everywhere for work, for pleasure. And I would photograph flowers. And I started to realize, oh, I think this is the universe's sneaky way of getting me to meditate, right? Or helping me at least know the experience of meditation. And then as my mind quieted, I started to get messages from the flowers. And so that's how I became known as the flower whisperer, because I was like hearing messages. Well, at the end of the day, there's still just messages from my higher self, right? Because when we quiet our mind, then we can hear our soul speak. But the vibration of the flowers definitely has an impact on us, whether it's, you know, visually, you know, sensually through sense, sight, smell. And so, yeah, it just became a really fun thing for me to do. And I still photograph flowers today, maybe not quite as much as I did before, but I absolutely love what Mother Nature shows us. And I think sometimes we just take it for granted. I mean, an acorn doesn't worry about how it's going to grow into an oak tree, right? And if we could just take on that same mentality of surrender in a powerful way, like a lot of people think about surrender as like some weak thing. Yeah. And it's not that. It's surrendering into the flow of the energy, which is also something that psychedelics help us do, right? Shuts off that default mode network, shuts down the amygdala. You know, it's like, it's either fear or love.